Erik,
What's up, man?
Chase DeLauter will be the name of my firstborn regardless of gender.
Yeah, fair take. Chase DeLauter through the first couple games of the season is an MVP candidate. I don't think that's a stretch at this point. Honestly, he is insane. The Guardians split two with the Mariners. We're going to break it all down, but make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, and leave us a voicemail. Give us a call. We'll play it on air. 216-260-3433. Noah, not too much to hate in the opening salvo against Seattle. I mean, there was a lot of good. Obviously, we split the two. Yesterday's game, not so much. But man, Chase DeLauter, fire.
The real deal, man. He is everything is advertised after years of waiting for him to finally get called up and play for the Guardians. And yes, I know he got called up for that playoff series. Erik and I were there. We got to watch him play a little bit against the Tigers last season in the wild card. But he's here and he's the real deal, man. If he could stay healthy, this is going to be an exciting Guardian season. And I know that is the take that we came out with when we were previewing the season. As long as the young guys stay healthy and bat to their potential, this could be a really fun team. And so far, I don't know about you, Erik, minus that 8-0 ass whooping yesterday. I'm having some fun watching the Guardians. I look forward to them coming on my TV, even though it's at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, weird times because we're on the West Coast.
Yeah, the fact that I mean, Chase DeLauter hit a home run in every single game so far, except for that blanking yesterday. I mean, listen, I say it all the time, like the Guardians can't compete. Nobody really can compete with the Dodgers of the world, right? The payrolls are too imbalanced. I still believe that, but watching this team so far and pitching is an aberration. Like you say, oh, they gave up eight. That settles in. Like you normally see this kind of thing at the beginning of the season, but our bats
Right.
being on fire already, and you have a lineup of Quan, DeLauter, J-Ram, like to start off to lead you off, they can certainly win the Central again. Detroit fans again. I don't know. I'm excited too, like you said, to watch Guardians baseball. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun. I'm really curious to see what happens in this Dodgers series, just because obviously that's the two-time champs. Seeing where we stack up early on, I wouldn't put too much credence if we get swept by them because they are a really good team and we are super young right now. But I am excited to see what this team can do against, baseball's best. And don't discredit the Mariners by any mean either. They're a really good baseball team and we split that series. I'm happy with that outcome. I'm ready to see this team settle in a little bit. I'm ready to see, the pitching settle in, like you said, and, start getting some of these young guys up. CJ Kafis had himself not a great series in terms of fielding, in terms of some of the stuff that was going on with him. I'll be curious to see what happens when Valera is healthy again. Of course, Bezana, we're waiting, praying, hoping for him to come up so Gabriel Arias doesn't have to play for us anymore. That's literally all that Cleveland Guardians Twitter has been saying lately. So to me, I'm just excited to watch this season progress more because the energy, the excitement that one Chase DeLauter has brought to this team already, and we're what, 4 games in, it's
Yeah, and
absurd. I'm all the way here for it.
keep in mind too that last game we talk about getting blanked 8-0. DeLauter was one of only two to get a hit in that game too. Only him and
Yeah.
Daniel Schneeben got hit. So all's good in DeLauter world. It will be interesting to see the Dodgers. They of course open the season 3-0 so far. They don't look like world beaters right now. But that can certainly change, obviously, and they're playing the Diamondbacks. So it'll be interesting to see how we match up with them. That game's tonight. It's a 10 o'clock match tonight. So we'll be able to see
Yeah.
real soon. But how do you feel, Noah, going into the season, starting with a split? I know it's not ideal to be only at 500 through the first four, but I'm excited for this team, I gotta say, especially once we finally get back home, start off our season here, our home opener, and get playing
Yeah.
in the Central. But how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. It's a young team, and we're letting them progress and mesh. It's a hard start to the season. I mean, you're playing the Cubs, you're playing, of course, the Mariners. We just finished up. You have the Dodgers. Like, it's not an easy start to the schedule. So, being around that 500 mark to me right now is fine. I mean, honestly, it'll be fine for me all the way up until July. We saw what we could do when we turned it on when we were in the home stretch last year, and we ended up winning the Central. But no, in all seriousness, it's a rough start. We're a young team, as long long as we're hanging in, I mean, the 8-0 loss is the worst loss, right? Other than that, I mean, we're still hanging in these games. I mean, Chase DeLauter's getting home runs. Our players are looking like who they are. So to me, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident. Of course, the payroll thing comes to mind. I want to shout out Reese Hoskins too, because he had a great start to his tenure with the Guardians. He had 3 hits in that first game. He was fun to watch. I'm surprised that they only played him 2 out of the 4 games. I thought for sure with him being a righty bat that he would be in there a lot more than he has been. But I also get it because you're switching around who's DHing and whatnot. And Reese and Manzardo can only play first base. You are only putting those two slow MFers at first base. So
Yeah. Let me ask you this. There's kind of two narratives I want to ask you about. The first is that we've been really hard on ownership about not surrounding J-Ram with talent, particularly hitting talent, right? Offensive talent.
yeah.
Is it a little less to the forefront now in your mind because of how well Chase DeLauter has started the season? That's question number one. Question number two is, are we putting a little too many eggs in baskets as Easter comes along with Chase DeLauter? Yes, fire start to the season, but is this sustainable, and are we overreaching a little bit in what we expect from him?
Well, I always like to point out the quote that came from Austin Hedges, where he was asked, "What is the ceiling for Chase DeLauter?" And he said, "AL MVP." So I don't think there's a placement of too many eggs in a basket or whatever when it comes to Chase DeLauter. He's the real deal. He's been a top prospect for us for quite some time. There's a reason fans have been excited to see this kid get called up and finally play in the majors. So no, I don't think so. Obviously, he's going to cool off a little bit. He's on pace to hit like over 100 home runs or whatever right now in the
Right.
season. Like, not going to happen. It's early. He'll probably have some, growing pains as young players do. But he went from being, before the season started at like plus 2,000, higher than 2,000 for rookie of the year. You know where he sits odd wise right now for rookie of the year after 4 games?
Where?
Second, it's plus 300 now. I sniped that before it fell all the way. I got it at like plus
Nothing to who?
1,600. I forget. I don't have that up right now, but he did come second. And remind you, this is a historical start too. I know we're glazing Chase DeLauter just a little bit, but I think he deserves it. He is the second player in MLB history to have 4 home runs in their first 3 season games. First, yeah, 3 of their rookie year, basically. So he joins Trevor Story, who is he's a decent hitter. He didn't have like a crazy career. He's still playing a little bit, but he's chasing history. He's having himself a historic start to a rookie campaign that is really exciting to watch.
Yeah, I hope he can just stay healthy. Obviously, he has a troublesome injury history that sidelined him quite a bit in his 3 minor league seasons. To my first question, and I know I ask you too, your thoughts on ownership. We give them a lot of flack for not surrounding J Ram with talent, and kind of wasting his years, knowing that DeLauter was in the wings. And based on just the season so far, do they get a little bit of a pass, or are we still on no, ownership has not done enough?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot you asked me 2 questions. I just got excited about Chase DeLauter again, and rightfully so, I think. That remains to be seen. If the thought process is we believe heavily in Chase DeLauter and George Valera and Bizana when he gets called up, and some of these other names that may get called up, going throughout the season as it works in the MLB. Maybe that was the thought process, and they do get a little bit credit back because we were developing players, and instead of log jamming it by spending money, we just let it flow. Yes, I do think some credit can be given back to the front office and ownership, but in the same breath, the criticism is the criticism for a reason. I mean, we're spending less than $100 million on this roster right now. That's absolutely absurd. That's absolutely not right. Like the fact that we aren't spending like any money on players it's crazy, and it's a credit to our coaching staff and our front office and our ability to develop, yes, but at the same time we need to spend a little bit of money. I hope when they do the salary cap thing there's a salary floor too, where it forces the owners to spend at least x amount of dollars so we don't have 60 million, $50 million rosters getting trouted out there when you have teams like the Dodgers in the 300, 400 million range.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, it's impossible to compete with those guys. Couple other
Yeah.
notes from the Mariners series that I wanted to run by you. First of all, J Ram got his 400th double,
Yep.
which is insane. But second, did you see where Guardians catcher Bo Naylor said he hasn't talked to his older brother through the first couple games of that series? Josh, of course, playing for the Mariners, said something along the lines of Josh likes to stay locked in when they asked if he talks to him when he comes to the plate. I thought that was interesting. Like no love lost, at least when they're playing between brothers.
I could just see that with Josh and the type of personality that he is. So to me, that makes sense that he's like that. But it is funny because they're literally blood brothers and all of that. But
Right.
at the same time, there's also a video of Josh on first, playing first, and Bo's like cheating out, and Josh is like cheating out to cut him off, like being an ass, like just being funny. You know what I mean? Like Bo wasn't in the situation or whatever, but like literally just mimicking Bo's moves. So while that might be his story, Josh Naylor is still a human being, and that is still his brother at the end of the day. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, both brothers not quite hitting the season off to the start that they would like on either team, which is kind of to be expected. Any other
Yeah.
notes from that series? Gavin Williams is one. He was holding the Mariners scoreless through those first 3 innings, and then a 3-run home run kind of changed that game a little bit. But he was brilliant last year. Any concern here? The problem with him has always been walks. He
Yeah.
led the league, I believe, last year, in walks. Is that a concern at all? He gave up, 6 in his start.
Yeah, to me, I don't put a lot of pressure on what's going on with any of the pitchers yet this early into the season because of, it's shaky. We're getting out there, and I know they had spring training, but it's still two different ball games, right? You're playing actually in the stadiums, you're going through the actual preparations for games that matter. So while, I don't think any of our pitching has been anything that, blows my mind so far, we're also one of the, if not the best teams in developing pitching, retaining pitching, making pitchers pitch well. I'm not worried about anything yet, other than maybe Tanner Bybee and his throwing shoulder soreness. But
Yeah.
you know, vote made it seem like it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. So I'm hoping it's not them just playing it nice for the media, as teams often do. And Bybee will be fine and hopefully make his next start here in what, 2, 3 days now.
Yeah, yeah, I don't disagree. I think the problem with Gavin Williams is that when you lead the league in walks, and then you only give up. I mean, he only gave up a couple hits. He was fine. His stuff was a little all over the place,
Yeah.
and he was getting batters to whiff, but he really did. The fastball was not finding the zone. That said, when you lead it in walks and one of those hits is a 3-run bomb, that kind of changes the narrative of the game, even though
Yeah.
he's serviceable the rest of the game. I agree, though. I think it's too early. Just something to note, though, as we head into the bulk of this season.
Yeah, of course, keep an eye on what's going on with what isn't he called like Tonka or something like that because of how big he is? Doesn't he have like he's
Is
Big
he?
Rig.
I
It's
don't know.
Big Rig. It's Big
Oh,
Rig. He
right,
goes by
big
Big
rig. Yeah,
Rig.
yeah,
Yes, yes. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him and Bybee. They both have the ability to be the ace of this team and really see who wins that competition this year. Obviously, both are going to be tremendous pitchers, I think, for us, barring injury or whatever. But yeah, it is something to note. It is something to watch as Bybee and Williams both kind of box it out for who's going to be the new face of pitching in Cleveland for what, the next couple years until we lose Gavin because he's going to go to one of the big market teams probably with his agency that he signed to or whatever. But battling it out, that'll be exciting to watch too. It's something to note who's going to be the real ace this year. Last year it was Williams, year before that it was Bybee. Who's it going to be for 2026?
yeah. I'm really hoping that we can get both of those arms. And if we can hit the ball, I know it's an early sample size and things look positive so far, but to be able to sneak in a championship, I know I'm talking really big picture now, but when we talk about the Dodgers, we talk about the Yankees, the Mets, etc. Like to be able to compete long term right now with current ownership is just not plausible. But if we can put some, like, we have such a small window, especially with J Ram, he's not getting any younger.
Right.
It gets me excited, but I'm tired of talking about the future with the Guardians. I'm ready for the now. And so far, I think we're in the now. I hope we can just take advantage.
That's what this season is, right? This feels like the future that we've been talking about forever with this team, even in years where we make the ALCS and lose to the Yankees or whatever. The future players, the names that we've been waiting to see play for this Cleveland Guardians organization are here. The main one is here. The second main one forever, it was always Valera and DeLauter. They're both here. They're both on our regular roster. Valera's just hurt right now. So we're here. The future is now, Erik. And that's what makes this really exciting because not only do we have those two, we have more coming up in a guy like Bizana too. And it's only a matter of time until Bizana plays in the Navy and Red this season.
Noah, there was also a trade today that hit the books and the airwaves. Talk about that and fill us in what's going on there.
Yeah, it's nothing super major. Jonathan Rodriguez, who played a little bit for us last year, gets shipped over to Baltimore in exchange for a relief pitcher that is a minor leaguer right now in Carter Rustad, I think is how you say that. It's Rustad. So I would say Rustad, right? Nah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I do like, moving one of these younger pieces away, a little less of the logjam in the outfield potentially. Um, I didn't think Jonathan Rodriguez was ever going to pan out for us, so I'm not super upset by this move. It's an interesting one, though.
Yeah, good note there. Trade partner with the Orioles. Noah, I am still excited for this season. I'm excited to watch the Guards against the Dodgers tonight. I think it's a little bit of a litmus test to kind of see where we're at. I know it's early, but I'm feeling good about this team overall.
Which is funny because you were very lukewarm on baseball and the Guardians in general because they didn't really spend any money and whatnot. And now here we are. Chase DeLauter hits what 4 home runs, and you're all the way back on the bandwagon. You're
No, no,
bleeding
no, no.
navy and red.
No, this is incorrect because if anybody actually knows me in real life, and you should know this, every single year I'm ecstatic for opening day. I'm ecstatic for the start to baseball, and I watch Moneyball like clockwork every single year because I love that movie. So I love baseball, but the moves made by ownership, we touched on it a little bit. I asked you, but I never gave my opinion on this. They're still not doing enough, period. And that's reality with this ownership club. Like you said, we just can't compete with the current size of our payroll. But we do the most with the least. I'm just tired of being the Pittsburgh Steelers of MLB.
We will see how it pans out, especially with the lockout coming up and, the Blitzer group eventually being able to take over and own this team as well. There's a lot of variables coming up for the Guardians that could change the complexion in terms of that spending and some of the stuff that you're upset about. And rightfully so. I'm not saying you shouldn't be upset. I think we've both voiced frustrations for that at this point. But seeing where these young guys are now, just very early on into their careers, I'm excited to see what we have on this roster as opposed to adding anybody else to it. Let's just see what we got right now because these young guys, they make me excited to watch some late baseball on the West Coast, let me tell you.
Fair enough. And I will end on a high. The Jake, it'll always be the Jake for those young kids out there. The Jake was voted the second best MLB stadium in the country, in the MLB, which is pretty cool. And they have done a great job there. On that note, though, the debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.